Today's Monday, January 8th, and the stock market has been closed for about 4 hours now. But this is a trade review of a position I took earlier today involving Realty Income Corp, ticker symbol O. And as of today's closing price, the stock ended at $59.48. And for the trading session, it was up $1.56. So this is the daily time frame. So each candlestick represents a day's worth of trading. This is the candlestick that was just for January 8th today. So before I go any further, this review is under the small trading account. It's also on margin, so that's the reason why it's not showing real-time data. So right here it says partially delayed data. So for stock and equity options trading, the data is delayed by 20 minutes. However, futures, options, and Forex are all real-time data. So, but for this specific trade, this is involving equity options. So during this look back here, this is going back about 6-7 months. And these red markers are visual representations to expiration Friday for monthly option contracts. The most recent expirations back on December 15th, and the upcoming expiration for January is January 19th. So it's about 2 weeks away from today. And during this look back, just looking left, I've identified two local support resistance levels. Local resistance of $60, local support at $55 relative to the current price, where price is right now. So it's essentially in the center or between these two ranges right here. So what I did was I overlaid this regression channel using this candlestick right here that generated a gap up in price, meaning that there was a significant drop, and then almost immediately price found a bottom and then bounced. So I'm using this as an anchor point for a regression channel just to help me navigate through this. And if I can just pin this right here, right? So the channel is an ascending bullish move to the upside. So the upper yellow is another layer of resistance. The bottom yellow is another layer of support. The gray center line is acting as both support and resistance. And we can see that here. So during this time period, price was held up between the gray and the upper yellow. And then when price fell, it found support at the bottom yellow. Just to get back above this gray line, there was a strong market interest to buy into it, eventually pushing price to retest that upper resistance level. So this is played out. So from my perspective, this appears to be a valid ascending channel. However, here today, there was a strong move to the upside. And even though price did close above it, it's literally approaching another resistance level, the $60 milestone. I'm interpreting this that it's possible that price could struggle to break above $60. So at this point, I think price doesn't have that much further to go before it will start fading back to the downside, possibly retesting the $55 threshold here after the January 19th expiration for monthly option contracts. So what I did was I picked up option contracts that will be expiring the following expiration Friday. And unfortunately, I did take the trade. I kind of jumped the gun a bit too early. I should have waited as price was approaching this expiration Friday to enter the trade. So unfortunately, I did get caught here. So what I'm referring to is that right down here are the details for my position. So I picked up option contracts that expires February 16th. Relative to the spot price, I selected the $55 strike price. And as a buyer of option contracts and bearish on this stock, I'm on the put side. And I picked up 5 contracts. Each option contract is equal to holding 100 shares of the underlying security. That's what this 100 is pertaining to. These 5 contracts, or all contracts with the February 16th expiration date, will be worthless in 39 days. And my entry price was quoted at 45 cents, but the multiplier is 100, so it's actually $45 per contract times the 5 contracts. That's about a $225 risk. And unfortunately, as the stock price went up $1.56, the premium dropped almost half its value to $22.50 by the end of the close. And unfortunately, the P&L is reflecting a negative balance of $112. So I did get caught. I kind of got the FOMO, the fear of missing out, because I thought this was going to get rejected after a strong consolidation of price essentially going sideways. And unfortunately, I didn't let the trend continue going sideways until it retested the bottom yellow. I jumped the gun again, and unfortunately, I'm gonna have to deal with it. But if price does continue creeping higher, retesting $60, I am considering adding additional contracts. This way I could average down on the overall trade. So here, if the premium is now $22, if I was to add another 5 contracts, that's another $100 worth of risk. Then this should average down from $45 to about $27, at least half that. So that's the goal here. So for the purpose of time, I will pause it here. I'll do periodic updates, considering there's about 40 days remaining before these contracts expires worthless. So I'll end it here. So it's been about 2 weeks since the initial recording, and as of Friday's close, Realty income ended the session at $54.97. So as I was anticipating, right, so the initial recording was back on January 8th, and the following trading week, price started rolling over to the point that by that Friday, or Thursday actually, price was contesting the yellow support level, which ultimately broke and ending this uptrend as prices come down to the following support resistance level of 55.50. So this is where it is right now. So if price continues trending lower, which I'm anticipating it will, the next support resistance level I have sitting will be at $52.68. And the most reasonable hint is what happened over here, because as price was working its way to the upside, there was about 2 days where price paused, having a difficult time breaking above it, and then when it finally did, price managed to stay above it, close above it, and stay above it. So there were about 3 or 4 days where price was respecting 52.68. So I'm anticipating that as price comes down, I think this would be an area, if there's still time remaining in the life of this trade, I think I would close out the position as price approaches 52.68. So overall, since the January 8th recording, this stock price has lost about $4.50 to the downside in that same 2-week span. So hopefully we'll see a stronger push to the downside, and price just barrels right through 52.68. If that is the case, then I think over time price will come down even lower to less than $50. But because my option contracts expires in a couple of days, I don't think I'll be a part of that. But anyway, switching over to the trade tab. Right here, the P&L is reflecting a positive balance of $284. And the option premium is now worth $1.02, but this is really $102.50 per option contract. And what I'm looking to do is close this trade out at least a 1 to 3 risk to reward, because what I'll do is I'll switch over to the option chart specific to my option contracts, which will not resemble to this chart right here, right? This is the overall stock chart. This chart I'm referring to is specific to my option contract. So right here by the ticker symbol, this has the February 16th expiration date, $55 strike price on the put side. So this is solely specific to my option trade. So if I open up Active Trader, this is the current spot price of the option premium, 105. And my entry price is right here, which is identified by the two yellow arrowheads on either side of price, which is essentially the zero line on my trade. So if I scroll down, right, so if the premium had gone to zero, my max loss is $228. If I'm looking for a 1 to 3 risk to reward, then that's approximately $675, $680 take profit. And that is sitting right here with the option premium of $1.80, which has a take profit potential of $671. Ideally, this is the strike price, our premium price. I'm looking to close this trade out, provided it gets this high. So anyway, I have my targets identified. So for the purpose of time, I'll pause it here, let the trade work itself out for another week or so before these contracts go worthless, and I'll do an update at that time. Today's Monday, February 5th, and this is a status check on the Realty income short via options. As of the time of this recording, the stock price, even though it's quoted at $52.77, it's actually quoted at $52.69. And the discrepancies, again, attributed to this partially delayed data. Considering that price has fallen way below this support level of $55.55 and is now approaching $52.68 support level, I'm going to go ahead and place an order to go ahead and close out this trade. Even though there's about 11, 12 days remaining in the life of this trade. As a matter of fact, if I switch over to the trade tab, so switching over to the trade tab, the option premium is now quoted at $2.27. Again, this is all delayed data, and the P&L is reflecting a positive balance of a little over $900. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the option chart and see if I can place an order in to close this trade out at $2.40. So this is the chart of my specific contracts right here by the ticker symbol. This is pertaining to the February 16th expiration date, the $55 put. It's quoted at $2.25. Again, this is all delayed data, unfortunately. So if I open this up, I'm going to go ahead right here, right by the ticker, it says net position +5. So this is specific to my option contracts. So I'm going to place an order to close out the 5 option contracts at, I'm going to see if I can get filled at $2.40, which is pegged to a $971 take profit. This is a net gain. So the order is sitting right here, and I'm not sure why there's a lag. So there's the order sitting right there. So for the purpose of time, what I'll do is I'll switch over to the trade tab again. So right here back at the trade tab, there's a sell position. It's open to sell at $2.40 if or when price does reach that level. And switching over to the chart real quickly, you can see that my order is also sitting here. It's slightly below the $52.68 support level. So if price does dip below that sometime today's trading session, then this order should get filled. So for the purpose of time, I will go ahead and pause it here. I'll do a status check at the end of the day to see if this trade's been filled. So until that update, I'll be back. So this is a end of day status check, and we can see here that I am out of the position. Heading into the close of today's trading session, Realty Income retested the support level of 52.68, and my order to close out the trade was filled. So switching over to the trade tab, the position is flat. So right here under quantity, it's reflecting 0, and the premium dropped to $2.35 or $235, but the P&L is 0. And switching over to the option chart. So this is the option chart. We can see here the premium ended at $2.40. So right here, right by the ticker, the premium is at $2.40. And if I show trades, there's the liquidation of those 5 option contracts at my target price of $2.40. And right back here was my entry, where when I entered, when each of those option contracts were valued at 45 cents or $45 per option contract. So gross profit was $1,200 minus the capital to get into the trade. This was approximately a $970 win, and I'll provide a breakdown of the trade details at the end of this clip. And if I open up Active Trader, the position 0, net position is 0, so I am out of the trade. I was fortunate enough to identify that drop as shown on the chart, so I will continue working and researching for other potential setups similar to this. And until the next setup, I'll see you.